Many men believe their lives are out of control because of time, work, or circumstances. They think they can't advance because the world moves too fast, because everything is urgent, because there's no room to breathe, but they're looking at the problem from the wrong angle. I, Brian Tracy, have learned that life does not organize itself. Life does not fall into place by luck. Life is mastered with intention. If you don't force yourself to create order, chaos will decide for you. And that disorder not only consumes your energy, it also devours your dreams. Every day you live without structure is a day you waste without realizing it. You don't need more hours, you need more focus. You don't need to do more, you need to do the right things. When you get organized, you don't just manage your time, you direct your life. Because success is not a distant goal, it is the accumulated result of days well used. And if you decide today to take control, to force yourself to organize every area of your life, your path will change, your mind will calm down, your purpose will align, and everything will start to respond. Because when you organize yourself internally, the world stops pushing you and starts opening up before you. Organizing your life is not a luxury, it is an urgency. It is the line that separates the man who advances from the one who is consumed by distractions. Most people live in reactive mode. They wake up late, rush from place to place, forget commitments, arrive just in time, postpone important decisions, and at the end of the day, they don't know where the time went. They live tired, confused, overwhelmed, and yet they believe they need more motivation. But it's not motivation they lack, it's order. Because without order, your energy disperses, your mind gets confused, your goals dissolve, and you become a slave to the lack of control that you yourself allow. Organizing your life begins with a firm decision. Stop improvising. Assume that every area of your day, no matter how small it seems, has a real impact on your destiny, and that starts by taking control of your time. It's not about living obsessed with clocks or with endless lists. It's about stopping giving away your hours to chance, because time is your most valuable resource, and yet you treat it as if it were infinite. It is not. Every minute you leave without direction is an opportunity buried, a part of your life that you will never recover. That's why you need to sit down with yourself and design your day. What time do you wake up? What do you do in the first hour? What tasks do you repeat that add nothing? What time of day are you most productive? You cannot improve what you have not measured, and if you don't structure it, you will keep spinning in circles. But organizing your life is not only a matter of time, it is also a matter of space. A disordered environment reflects a saturated mind. The place where you sleep, work, eat, or rest should help you focus, not distract you. It's not about perfection, it's about functionality. Every object should have its place, every tool should be at hand. Every corner should invite you to move forward, not to remain stuck, because your environment shapes your behavior more than you imagine. You want mental clarity, but you live with visual noise. You want energy, but you don't even know where your own tools are. Change that. Your physical environment must be your first ally, not your silent enemy. And there is an even deeper truth. The disorder you tolerate outside is a representation of the disorder you accept inside. Your habits, your relationships, your emotions, your finances, your goals, everything needs structure. You cannot have peace if you live putting out fires every day. You cannot have vision if you don't know what you are focused on today. Order is not rigidity, it is liberation. It gives you margin to rest, to think better, to decide with clarity. It gives you the peace of mind of knowing that you are in command, that you do not live at the mercy of what arises, but according to what you chose with intention. Organization is applied discipline. It is assuming that your life will not change magically, that if you don't give it shape, it will deform itself, that if you don't sustain it with structure, it will fall apart with the first distraction. And that doesn't make you a boring man, it makes you a powerful man. Because whoever has control over his time, his environment, and his decisions has control over his destiny. And in a chaotic world full of scattered men, one who lives with structure stands out, attracts respect, inspires confidence, achieves results, because he does not depend on the emotion of the moment. He depends on a system that backs him up. And you can use taviket that your K, it make you as trial, like why then a chain. In seven comes tabant the first to self, for rather pumping, and you can know the moment, and you could spot the pumping. And that system is built when you force yourself to organize your life, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable at first, because in that effort lies the beginning of your transformation. An organized life is not built with good intentions. It is built with systems. And a system is nothing more than a series of intelligent decisions that are repeated every day without negotiation. When you think big but act without structure, the result is frustration. You have enormous dreams, but you don't have habits to sustain them. You have brilliant ideas, but your calendar is full of urgent and empty things. You have talent, but your energy is wasted between interruptions, distractions, and tasks that get you nowhere. And so the months pass and nothing changes. Because without a system to order your life, you live putting out fires that you yourself caused by not planning. Organizing your life is learning to make high-value decisions. It is understanding that not all activities are equal. Some tasks generate progress, others just take up space. Some bring you closer to your vision, others only make you feel busy. The average man confuses activity with productivity. He runs all day, arrives exhausted at night, but doesn't advance. You cannot afford that luxury. You need to have clarity about what is essential. What activities move the needle? What habits sustain your energy? What actions generate concrete results? Those are the ones that should have priority. The rest should be eliminated, delegated, or postponed. Do this. Define your 3 daily priorities. Not 10, not 20. 3. The most important ones, write them down the night before and the next day, before answering messages, before checking social media, before letting the world interrupt you. Do them. Keep your promise to yourself first, because when you do the important before the urgent, your life begins to change. You regain control, you regain peace, you regain the feeling of building something worthwhile. Most people live reacting. You must live directing. And that direction doesn't appear by itself. It is designed, it is protected, it is repeated. Organizing your life also means learning to say no, because if you don't know how to set limits, you will be a victim of other people's agendas. Accepting everything, responding to everything, participating in everything fragments you, exhausts you, steals time for what really matters. Every time you say yes to the irrelevant, you are saying no to the valuable. Therefore, an organized man is not the one who does the most things, but the one who does the right things. And to do them, he needs space, he needs focus, he needs the courage to reject the unnecessary. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to build something great, and that requires order, requires filters, requires difficult decisions. And I want you to understand this with total clarity. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you are not using the time you have well. Every person has the same 24 hours. The difference is not in the quantity, it is in the intention. There are men who with 2 free hours a day transform their bodies, their finances, their mindset. How do they do it? With structure, with systems, with priorities. While others complain about time, they are already executing because they know that time is neutral, but the use you give it is not. And if you decide to structure every day intelligently, your salary goes further, your mind gets ordered, your energy multiplies, your entire life is transformed. You cannot build anything solid if your day is a game of Russian roulette. You need rituals, you need focus blocks, you need moments of reflection, you need mental, physical, and emotional order. Because all of that is interconnected. An organized calendar generates clarity, an organized room generates peace, an organized mind makes better decisions, and an organized life becomes unstoppable, not because it is perfect, but because it knows where it is going. And that is your new standard, not to do more, but to do what is necessary with intention, with focus, and with discipline. That is what will take you out of chaos. That is what will set you free. That is what will turn you into a truly organized and therefore powerful man. Organizing your life also means doing a deep cleaning of your relationships. Yes, because no matter how much order you put into your calendar or your desk, if you are surrounded by people who drain you, distract you, or sabotage you, your progress will be slow, confused, or non-existent. Most people underestimate the power of their human environment. They think they can grow amidst emotional chaos, empty conversations, and negative people who live complaining, mocking, wasting time. But that is like trying to run with a backpack full of rocks. You can do it, but not for long. If you want order in your life, you need order in your relationships. Take an inventory of your relationships. Ask yourself, does this person lift me up or drag me down? Do they challenge me or lull me to sleep? Do they push me forward or limit me? It's not about becoming cold or cruel. It's about protecting your energy, because your energy is your most valuable resource after time. And if you waste it on meaningless conversations, on relationships that don't advance, on unnecessary dramas, your whole system collapses. Organization is also emotional, it is also social, it is also energetic. Therefore, order is not only seen in your calendar, it is noticed in who you spend your time with, in what kind of topics you discuss, and what kind of standards you allow around you. Start by setting boundaries. You don't need to respond to every message immediately. You don't have to be available to everyone. You are not obliged to carry other people's problems as if they were your own. Learn to say, not now. I need to focus. I'm not available today. Those boundaries are not selfish, they are wise. Because you cannot build a powerful life if you live interrupted, if your energy is taken by others, if every time you want to move forward something or someone pulls you down. Disorder also takes the form of people, and you must have the courage to detect it. And it's not just about moving away from what limits you, it's also about moving closer to what elevates you. Seek to surround yourself with people who live with intention, who value their time, who take care of themselves, who talk about ideas, not just complaints, who think about goals, not just problems. When you are close to men and women who already live with structure, with focus, with vision, you begin to absorb that energy. That silent demand forces you to grow. It inspires you. It makes you more intentional, because what surrounds you shapes you, whether you want it or not. And if you don't find that environment, build it. Don't put your progress in the hands of others. Create your spaces. Choose who you follow on social media. Choose what you consume. Choose what kind of information enters your mind, because all of that is also part of the order. Every stimulus you allow in your day has an effect, and if you don't filter, you get contaminated. And if you get contaminated, your focus disperses. And if your focus disperses, your growth slows down. It's that simple. Therefore, a truly organized man is also a selective man. He knows what to say yes to. He knows what to say no to, and above all, he knows who he walks with. You cannot build a powerful life if you are surrounded by human chaos, by emotions that are not yours, by energies that do not understand your vision. You are called to more, and to get there, you need clarity on every front: mental, physical, financial, emotional, and relational. Everything is part of the system. Everything is intertwined. Everything has an impact. So start ordering your relationships, not out of pride, but out of vision, not out of rejection, but out of responsibility to yourself, because your environment is the reflection of your decisions. And if you want your life to be a reflection of greatness, your environment has to start resembling that greatness starting today, without excuses, without fear, with firmness, with direction, with order. Organizing your life is not only a matter of schedules and tasks, it is also a matter of purpose. Because there is no point in having every minute planned if you don't know what you are living for. And this is the big mistake of many men. They fill themselves with activities, routines, and other people's goals, but inside they are empty. They comply with everything except with themselves. They run, produce, work, but they don't stop to ask themselves if that effort is taking them where they really want to go. True order begins with direction, with a clear why, because when you have clarity of purpose, organizing your life is no longer a burden, it is a natural necessity. Everything begins to fall into place because everything begins to make sense. This is also a good moment to remind you that if this content is helping you refocus and make important decisions, you can subscribe to continue strengthening your mindset, your discipline, and your personal growth. And let me ask you something directly. What is the most disorganized area of your life today? And what is it costing you by not putting it in order? Write it in the comments, not for others, but for yourself. Because sometimes naming it clearly is the first step to firmly transforming it. Organization is not an end, it is a means, a tool that brings you closer to a life with intention, a life that does not allow itself to be carried by the current, but decides its route. And that is why, if you truly want to get organized, you first need to know where you are going, what kind of man you want to be, how you want to live in 5 years, what kind of relationships you want to have, what legacy you want to leave, because those answers are what determine what enters your calendar, what enters your wallet, what enters your environment. Purpose is the master filter. Everything that doesn't feed it obstructs it, and what obstructs is eliminated. But here comes the most important thing. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. Your purpose may be confusing at the beginning, it may change over time, and that's okay. What cannot happen is for you to live on autopilot without asking yourself anything, without adjusting anything. The organization of your life begins with honesty, with taking pauses, with reviewing, with correcting the course every now and then. It's like an airplane pilot. They don't maintain the perfect direction all the time, but they have a clear goal, and that is why they make small adjustments constantly. You must do the same, because without review, disorder returns. Without reflection, mistakes repeat, and without intention, time slips away from you. Make purpose a compass. Every time you hesitate whether to do something, ask yourself, does this align me with the man I want to be, or does it take me away? And even if you don't know the answer, you will still be closer than if you didn't ask yourself, because you are awakening consciousness. You are stopping living in automatic mode. You are taking control. And when you do that, your energy changes. Your environment responds. Your decisions become firmer, and your life begins to have a different rhythm. Not the chaotic rhythm of the modern world, but the strategic rhythm of the man who knows what he wants and organizes himself to achieve it. You don't need more time. You don't need another opportunity. You just need to sit down with yourself and order your priorities. Because where there is order, there is power. Where there is purpose, there is direction. And where there is direction, there are results. So start there today. Turn off the noise. Write, define, review, organize, because internal clarity turns into external action. And when that happens, there is nothing that can stop you, because a man with purpose does not need daily motivation. He just needs structure. And you are building it right now, step by step, decision by decision, day by day. That is the true transformation, and it has already begun. Organizing your life also demands that you put your finances in order, because no matter how hard you strive to have productive habits, healthy relationships, or a strong mindset, if your personal finances are in disorder, you will live with anxiety, stress, and a constant feeling of vulnerability. And there is no real growth amidst financial uncertainty. There is no freedom when every expense generates guilt. There is no clear vision if your money slips away without knowing where it went. Therefore, it does not matter how much you earn. What matters is how you manage it. It's not about having more, it's about knowing how to handle what you already have with intelligence, with intention, and with absolute discipline. Many men have decent incomes, but their lifestyle drags them down. They spend without a plan, buy impulsively, go into debt to keep up appearances, and then wonder why they don't advance. The answer is simple. You cannot order your life if you do not order your money. Money is not everything, but it influences everything. It affects your mental health, your decisions, your peace, your opportunities. And the first step to having organized finances is not to earn more. It is to look your numbers in the face. Make a budget, know how much comes in, how much goes out, and where it goes. You cannot improve what you do not measure. You cannot grow if you don't know where you are failing. Do this. Take a notebook and write down your fixed expenses. Then register your variable expenses for the last month. Be brutally honest without justifying anything. Just observe. There you will clearly see what are unnecessary leaks, what habits are stealing your freedom, and what adjustments you need to make. Then establish a minimum savings percentage, even if it's 5% of your income. The important thing is to start, because that habit trains you to prioritize the future over momentary pleasure. Till du alles prater veel akkelwaar. Oké, boek die in een moot safety motiveer over en je gaat in redder talbing de rational fees, wezen nimmers, wezen die overning, wezen die nimmers, wezen die overning, you karen te rational, you get coming need no veel, that session der, that te laken like intuitive. Then met die word der dumo, dat door op a. And that mindset is key to any deep transformation. Financial order is not a punishment, it is a tool of power. It is the basis for making decisions calmly, for investing with vision, for living with dignity. And here comes an uncomfortable truth. If you don't know how to live on less than what you earn, you will always be poor, even if your income rises, because it is not income that determines your freedom, it is control. And control begins by eliminating emotional expenses, by stopping justifying whims with phrases like, I deserve it, or you only live once. Yes, you deserve well-being, but a sustained well-being, not one that leaves you short every month. You deserve to live well, but not at the expense of your peace of mind. You deserve to enjoy, but with strategy, not with guilt. And all of that is achieved when you force yourself to order your finances as an integral part of your life. And do not forget this, money is an extension of your internal structure. If you are chaotic in your mind, you will be in your wallet. If you are disorganized with your time, you will be with your expenses. Therefore, by ordering your money, you are ordering your mind. You are training your capacity to decide, to postpone gratification, to think long-term. And that is one of the most powerful skills a man can develop, because it turns you into someone reliable, into someone who not only generates, but also manages, into someone who not only dreams, but builds on a solid foundation. If you organize your life but continue to leave your finances to chance, you are leaving an open crack, and through that crack, opportunities, energy, and self-esteem escape. Financial organization is not a technical issue, it is an emotional, mental, spiritual issue. It is a way of saying to life, I take what I receive seriously. When you do that, life responds to you. Doors open, stress drops, focus increases. Because you are no longer surviving, you are directing. You are no longer trapped, you are building. So check your accounts, make your budget, eliminate what does not contribute, prioritize what expands you, and above all, commit to yourself to live with financial order, no matter how much you earn, because it is not a matter of quantity, it is a matter of mindset. And if your mind is focused, your money will be too. And then you will be truly ready to grow seriously, with structure, with strategy, with purpose, with power. Organizing your life also involves designing a personal routine that becomes your daily base, your platform for energy, focus, and mental clarity. Many men underestimate the value of a good routine, believing it is boring, repetitive, or unnecessary. But the truth is that routine is one of the most powerful secrets of the most successful men in the world. not because it takes away their freedom, but because it gives them structure to use their freedom intelligently. A good routine is not a prison, it is a launch pad, and without it, every day begins in chaos, in improvisation, in doubt. Your body takes longer to start. Your mind wanders, your energy disperses, and at the end of the day, all that is left is fatigue, frustration, and the feeling of not having done anything truly important. A well-built routine is like a mental armor. It is that set of already predefined decisions that save you energy, that align you with your priorities, that center you on what really matters. You don't have to think about whether you are going to exercise, whether you are going to read, whether you are going to work on your personal project. It is already decided, and that frees up mental space to focus on bigger things. Remember, every decision you leave to chance consumes willpower. And if every morning you have to convince yourself to do the right thing, you are losing energy that you could use to advance faster. Start with your morning. How does your day start? Do you wake up late? Do you grab your cell phone? Do you check social media, shower in a hurry, and leave without direction? Or do you get up with intention? Do you give yourself time to breathe, to move, to think? Your morning defines your day. If your first hour is disorganized, the rest of the day will drag that disorder. Therefore, build a morning routine that elevates you. You don't need 3 hours or magic formulas. You just need simple but powerful habits. Waking up early, hydrating, moving your body, reading something nutritious, writing your priorities, giving thanks. Don't make it perfect, make it constant, because in constancy lies true power. Afterwards, structure your workday. Divide your day into blocks. Define clearly when you work, when you rest, when you learn. Don't mix everything. Multitasking is a silent enemy that makes you feel productive while sabotaging you. Do one thing at a time, but do it with excellence. Use timers, eliminate distractions, have specific goals per block. Every hour must have an owner. Every block must have a purpose. Because if you don't do it, laziness will, social media will, the urgencies of others will. And at the end of the day, create a closing ritual. Evaluate what you achieved, write down what didn't go well. Plan the next day. Be thankful for what you have. Disconnect from the noise. Give your mind the signal that it is time to rest. Don't go to sleep with chaos. Don't end the day with floating tasks. Close the day with intention, with consciousness, because that way you teach your mind that you are in command, that there is structure, that there is order, and that over time becomes an internal feeling of power, of direction, of real progress. It doesn't matter if you fail one day. It doesn't matter if you deviate from the plan. The important thing is to return. Return to the structure, return to the routine, return to what gives you strength. Because every time you do it, you become stronger, more disciplined, more resilient, and that is worth more than any fleeting motivation. That is what builds a man with purpose. A man who does not live in reaction, but in creation. A man who does not depend on his mood, but on his system. So design your routine, write it down, adjust it, protect it. Don't let others break it, because your routine is your temple. It is your center. It is your secret tool. And in a world full of disorder, the one who has a routine has an advantage, because he doesn't start from scratch every day. He starts from his best version, and that repeated for weeks, for months, for years becomes inevitable success, solid greatness, a destiny that was not an accident, but a consequence of having chosen order as a lifestyle. And you can start today with a small adjustment, with a firm decision, with a system that is yours, tailored to you, sustained by your vision, defended with your character, and that changes everything. Organizing your life also means mastering the use of your attention, because ultimately your life is what you pay attention to. If your mind is constantly fragmented, jumping between notifications, random thoughts, and poorly resolved pending tasks, then your life will also be fragmented. It does not matter how many goals you have or how good your plan sounds. If you do not control your focus, you will never execute anything with true depth. And that is the big problem of this era. Men no longer have the capacity for concentration. They live exposed to noise, to constant distractions, and at the end of the day, they wonder, why do they feel like they haven't advanced? Why are they exhausted without having done anything truly important? The answer is simple. Their attention was hijacked. Focus is not something that appears by itself. It is something that is trained. And like all training, it requires conscious effort. You have to decide when you disconnect from the noise. You have to create spaces for deep work, for deep thought, for real silence. If you don't, you will always be in a state of reaction, jumping from stimulus to stimulus, doing tasks halfway, accumulating frustration. A man who does not control his attention is like an archer who shoots arrows without looking at the target. Much activity but no impact, much movement but no real achievement. Do you want to advance faster? Start by eliminating everything that steals your focus. Turn off notifications. Silence groups that do not contribute. Delete applications that only entertain you but do not build you. Schedule specific times to check messages, to reply to emails, to consume content. Do not be a slave to your cell phone. Use technology, but do not let it use you. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and you cannot leave it exposed to digital disorder all day. Every interruption, however minimal it may be, breaks your flow, lowers your energy, weakens your will, and if you don't stop it, it becomes a habit of distraction, a habit of mediocrity. And it's not about living like an isolated monk, it's about living with consciousness, choosing moments of focus, protecting your time as if it were gold, because it is. You cannot do deep work amidst superficial interruptions, and you cannot build an extraordinary life with an ordinary focus. The world values men who know how to concentrate, who can sit down for 2 hours to solve a problem, who know how to think without fleeing every second, who are not scared of silence, because silence is not emptiness. Silence is the space where powerful ideas are born. Create focus rituals. For example, every morning before talking to anyone, dedicate an hour to your most important project, without distractions, just you, your mind, and your task. Train your brain to sustain attention. At first, it will be difficult. You will feel restless. You will want to check your cell phone. Resist it. Remain, because every minute you manage to sustain focus is a victory. And those small accumulated victories will turn you into someone unstoppable. Because in a world of distraction, the one who dominates his focus dominates his destiny. Remember this: where your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention is scattered, your life will be, but if your attention is directed, your life will take shape. And the best thing is that you don't need special talent to achieve it. You just need intention, discipline, and the courage to say no to what does not build. Every day you can train your focus like you train a muscle. And the stronger your attention becomes, the more powerful your capacity to create, to solve, to impact becomes. So today, do a deep cleaning of your mental world, remove the unnecessary, simplify your environments, create spaces for real concentration, because a man who takes care of his focus takes care of his power. And that power, when combined with structure, with clarity, and with purpose, changes everything. Because you are no longer living in reaction, you are living in direction. You are no longer living distracted, you are living awake. You are no longer living in chaos, you are living in control. And that, in this era of noise, is an advantage that few have. You can have it if you choose from today forward to protect the most valuable thing you have, your capacity for attention, your inner compass, your creative force. Your mind organizing your life also demands that you put your emotions in order. Because no matter how much you plan, how much you work, or how much you control your environment, if you do not know how to handle what you feel, you will live sabotaging your own progress. Many men fall into this mistake. They believe that organization is only logic, technique, strategy, and forget that their emotional state defines their daily behavior. You cannot be consistent if your emotions drag you down. You cannot make good decisions if you live dominated by fear, guilt, or frustration. And you cannot build a powerful life if you do not have internal peace. Emotional order is not immediately visible, but it is the invisible foundation of every truly stable life. Your emotions are not your enemy, but they are not your guide either. They are signals, information, and you must learn to listen to them without turning them into dictators. You feel anxiety, observe it, ask yourself what message it brings. You feel anger, examine its cause. You feel sadness, give it space, but don't drown in it. Emotional organization begins when you stop reacting impulsively to every emotion that appears. When you understand that you are not what you feel, you are the one who chooses what to do with what you feel. And that distinction is the beginning of your inner maturity. Many live trapped in emotional cycles. They get motivated, they act, something goes wrong, they get frustrated, they give up, and they start over. That back and forth is not a character flaw, it is a lack of emotional management. If you don't know how to sustain effort when enthusiasm drops, you are at a disadvantage. Because positive emotion does drive you, yes, but it doesn't last forever. What takes you far is not feeling good every day, it is doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it. And that is only possible when there is order inside, when your emotions don't decide for you, but you observe them, process them, and move forward with focus. A practical way to organize your emotions is to create a daily space for introspection. It doesn't have to be long, just a few minutes each night to review how you felt during the day. What triggered you? What hurt you? What made you happy? Write it down if necessary, because what is not named festers, and what is repeated without awareness becomes a pattern. You need to identify your emotional patterns if you want to free yourself from them. What knocks you off focus? What makes you procrastinate? What kind of thoughts cloud your mind? That information is gold, because once you detect it, you can start to deactivate it, substitute it, overcome it. And remember, it is not about suppressing emotions, it is about channeling them. Sadness can become reflection, anger, an impulse to act. Anxiety, a signal to redirect. But all of that is only possible if there is internal structure. If you are willing to look inward, to do the uncomfortable work of knowing yourself, understanding yourself, healing yourself, because that silent, emotional, deep work is what determines whether your external organization has firm roots or not. You cannot put order outside if you are broken inside. Sooner or later, the internal chaos filters through. Start seeing your emotions as indicators, not as absolute truths. Not everything you feel is real. Not every negative thought deserves your attention. Not every intense emotion deserves an immediate action. You are not here to react, you are here to direct. And directing also implies dominating your inner world with compassion. Yes, but also with firmness, because your peace is not found by chance, it is built. And that peace, when you cultivate it every day, becomes an anchor, your refuge, your most stable source of power. So if you really want to organize your life, start by organizing your emotional world, not to control everything, but to navigate it with more consciousness. Not to avoid pain, but to understand it. Not to repress what you feel, but to use it as fuel. Because every emotion is an opportunity to know yourself, to strengthen yourself, to transcend. And when you learn to do that with constancy, your life becomes clearer, lighter, more focused. You no longer drag yourself internally. You walk with firmness. You no longer live on autopilot. You live with intention. And that, in a world full of emotional noise, turns you into an exceptional man, one who not only plans well, but lives in peace. And from that peace, everything else flows with order, with direction, with power. Organizing your life also requires you to put order in your relationships. Because no matter how much you discipline yourself, how much you advance, or how clear your vision is, if you are surrounded by people who drain your energy, who sabotage your growth, or who constantly push you into disorder, sooner or later, you will fall back. The relationships you choose are an extension of your mental environment. They lift you up or sink you. They give you clarity or fill you with noise. They push you towards your best version or drag you back to your weakest version. Therefore, if you really want to transform your life, it is not enough to work on yourself. You have to examine, filter, and reorganize who you allow into your world. Make a mental list right now. Who are the people who most influence your decisions, your mood, your daily routine? Who inspires you to be more disciplined, more conscious, more organized? And who distracts you, leads you to lose focus, or fills you with thoughts that you no longer want to cultivate? It's not about judging or fighting with anyone. It is about choosing with maturity, because a relationship can be comfortable but toxic. It can have years of history but be completely disconnected from your future. And you don't have the duty to drag bonds just out of nostalgia. Your only obligation is to yourself, to your growth, to your life mission. Many times personal disorder is sustained because there are relationships that feed it, friends who normalize chaos, who celebrate you when you give up, who justify your lack of commitment, partners who do not share a vision for the future, who do not support your discipline, who prefer a stagnant life because change demands too much, family members who criticize every attempt at improvement, who ridicule your goals, who project their own fears onto you. You cannot change others, but you can change the boundaries you set. And those boundaries are the most powerful tool for emotional and strategic order that you can apply to your relationships. Define your values clearly, what you allow, what you don't. What conversations do you accept? What behaviors do you block? And not just with words, with actions, because respect is not demanded, it is modeled. If you take yourself seriously, others will too. If you respect yourself, your environment reorganizes itself. Only people who do not resonate move away. Those who vibrate with you move closer. You don't need to force anything, you just need to be coherent. Living in order is also about having healthy, clear relationships based on mutual purpose and not on emotional need. And that is built by choosing, by giving up what is comfortable but destructive, and by opening yourself up to the new, even if it is uncomfortable at first. Now, it's not about isolating yourself, it's about surrounding yourself with those who help you sustain order. Look for men who already live with focus, who have already traveled the path you want to take. Learn from them, listen to them, be inspired, and if you don't have them nearby, consume them in books, in conferences, in content that feeds your mindset, because your environment can also be digital. And if every day you consume voices that remind you of your purpose, that demand more of you, that make you think deeper, that environment begins to reprogram your mind, and your mind begins to restructure your life. Finally, remember that the most important relationship you need to order is with yourself, because many times external disorder reflects a broken internal relationship. You speak harshly to yourself. You demand without compassion. You constantly fail yourself, and that is exhausting. Learn to treat yourself as you would treat someone you love deeply, with discipline, yes, but also with patience, with a long-term vision, with faith in what you can become. Because when you are well with yourself, you don't need so much from the outside, and that makes you freer, more selective, stronger. So today, make decisions about your environment. Don't keep lying to yourself. Don't postpone necessary conversations. Don't allow what you already know is wrong anymore, because your peace, your energy, your focus are too valuable to share with those who don't know how to take care of them. And when you put order in your relationships, you will see how everything else aligns. Your habits, your productivity, your confidence. Because being surrounded by people who lift you up is like having the wind at your back, and you deserve it. You just have to choose it and protect it every day as a fundamental part of your path towards a truly organized, focused, and fulfilled life. Organizing your life is not just a personal project, it is an act of respect towards your existence. It is recognizing that you are not here to survive amidst pending tasks, complaints, distractions, and out-of-control emotions. You are here to create something with your life, to build a story that is worth living. And that story is not written by itself, it is written with structure, with direction, with daily decisions that reflect that you know what you want and you are not going to wait any longer to start, because time does not wait. And if you don't order your life, life will do it for you by force. It will show you with crises, with losses, with chaos, not because it is punishing you, but because disorder always exacts a price, sooner or later. And the more you postpone order, the higher the price will be. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. You just need to take control of one part, one small part. Maybe it's your schedule, maybe your room, maybe your diet, maybe your finances, maybe your social circle. But start there, because order is not a destination, it is a practice, a daily training, a commitment to yourself that becomes stronger every time you choose to do it, even when you don't feel like it. And when you do it, something changes. Your mind clears, your decisions are simplified, your self-esteem rises, because you begin to see that you can trust yourself, that you can sustain yourself, that you can advance step by step with firmness. Many look for change in expensive courses, in motivational books, in spiritual retreats.
It is enough
but
for
the
him
most
to know
brutal
every
and
night
most
that he did
liberating
what he
truth
should,
is
that he
this:
lived with intention,
your life will
that he
change when you
advanced
force
even if
yourself
no
to
one
put it
saw
in
it,
order.
that he
Not
organized
tomorrow,
himself
not when you
because of
have
external
time,
pressure,
not when everything
but out of
calms
self-love.
down. And maybe
Now,
no
with
one
what
taught
you
you
have,
this,
maybe
in the
you grew
midst
up
of
surrounded
chaos,
by
if
disorder,
necessary,
maybe your
because
role
waiting for
models were
perfect
chaotic,
conditions
maybe
is
you
another
believed
way
that
of
living like
postponing
that
your
was
greatness.
normal, but today
And
you
greatness
know
is
it.
built with
Order is a
imperfection,
tool of
but
power,
with
an
direction.
expression of respect
It doesn't
for
matter
you,
if you
a
fall.
way to give
It
yourself
doesn't
the
matter
life
if you
you
take
deserve,
time.
not the
What
perfect
matters
life,
is that
the
you are no
structured
longer
life,
drifting,
with space
you
to
are
grow,
taking
to
the
fail
helm.
without
You are
collapsing,
stopping
to get up
reacting
without
to starting
starting
from
from
scratch every time.
And this is not
And
about
that is not
becoming a
boring, that is
hyper-productive
liberating,
robot,
because
it
when
is about
everything has
becoming
its
a
place
man
you
with
also
meaning,
find yours.
with purpose.
So do it.
Who knows
Not out
that
of
his
pressure,
time is
not
limited,
for appearance,
that his
do it
energy is
because you have
valuable,
already
and that his
understood
life
living in
deserves
disorder
order,
is living
not
in
out of
war with
vanity,
yourself,
but out of
and you
vision,
no longer want
because he
internal
wants to go
battles.
far.
You want to
Because he
advance,
doesn't want to be a
create,
spectator
build,
of his
and that
existence.
starts by
He
putting
wants
every
to be
piece
the
in its
author,
place,
the architect,
with patience,
the
with
responsible
discipline,
party.
with vision, with strength, because a man who organizes himself transforms, and a man who transforms everything around him, his house, his work, his legacy, his world. That man can be you if you start today, if you choose today, if you don't postpone any longer. The order you need is already within you. You just have to activate it, defend it, sustain it, because no one will come to do it for you. No one. This is your task, your responsibility, your opportunity, and when you take it, everything changes.